Welcome to the monthly acquisition forum, where I show how to analyze digital assets deals. We're going to find the assets. We're going to choose together which one we're going to analyze and review. I'm going to give you the quick wins that I see and the pitfalls that you might get, and I also give you some ideas of how to scale up. My expertise is scaling up through email marketing by collecting data and personalization. So you're also going to add to that too. Let's just jump right in. DealSlide is an aggregator of digital assets, about 20 sources. And when I'm mentioning digital assets, websites, newsletters, YouTube channels, Facebook groups, what else can you think of? SaaS products, things like that. For people who don't know, basically it's an asset where you can buy and operate for yourself to generate cash flow, or you can buy it for your business as professional M&A to make your business larger. You get the traffic, you get all the users there, whatever you need. From what you told me before about AI, that may be interesting for you to look at these things for buying. Yes, you need to put upfront money on this, but the returns are nice. You still need to know how to operate a business and aware of the risks, but it's definitely an option. So DealSlide, as I mentioned, aggregates about sources you see here, and the last volume here is $3.2 billion with all businesses in here to buy, 8,000 something listings, and new ones 95 just now. Last thing is 1 hour ago. So let's search for interesting businesses. What I'm going to do is I am going to go to the sources. The one that is easiest to review and analyze is Flippa. Flippa is by far the largest marketplace for digital assets. It used to be the Wild West, but they're improving more and more so it's not so wild anymore. You still need to be very careful, and there are other more reliable marketplaces such as Empire Flippers and perhaps Acquire and a bunch of others. So as example, with Empire Flippers, you might buy an asset, but that will be more expensive. You're basically paying a premium for them to vet some of the data there. So it really depends, and you need to know what you're doing, but they're less Wild West than Flippa. Let's go through listings. Any interesting niche in particular? Moshe?
And affiliates.
Almost every website has some kind of affiliate.
Yeah.
Affiliate in which niche? That's the question.
Let's go on.
SaaS. Let's see if we find something. And I don't want the starter businesses. I want the big business. So let's say price range, let's say 10K up. It's not so large, 10K, but it's bigger than 0. Okay, let's see what we have. We have a SaaS for almost $700,000, profitable SaaS business in media niche. 35 years old, wow. You don't see a lot of these. You can see it already changed. Let's see the historical changes. Probably the price dropped a few times. No, just an error. Profit increased in 2 British pounds. Not really a lot of changes here. Okay, so this is interesting. AI home exterior tool with 15K visits in 2 months. 1.6 monthly revenue via credits. Turnkey SaaS. Okay. Revenue 1.1 a month. VoxDub is a dubbing SaaS using Rhythmo band technology. Okay. That's even a smaller one. Not every listing is open and you can see all the data, so we'll just have to check those and then check among those. Let's view this one. Okay, so this one needs an NDA. Yeah, you need the NDA, so they also don't give you the viewing credentials. Let's see this one. So these are things that also for Flippa changed recently, the last 6 months or so. So they're adding, of course, they want to make more money, so they add these different kind of paywalls for different things. This is VoxDub. If it's not new, then let me see. Yeah, you can see all the data here. Okay, so this is one relevant. This VoxDub, turnkey SaaS EPR acquisition platform with full source code. Let's see this one, your listing. Deal Slide, by the way, saves me a lot of time finding new businesses. So definitely very highly recommend it. Okay, that also looks interesting. So I don't know if we'll have time to do two businesses, so we'll have to just choose between those. So with a quick vote, who wants Invezi SaaS, all-in-one inventory, sales, and accounting SaaS versus, what's that? VoxDub is a dubbing SaaS using Rhythm technology. Okay, band technology, sorry. Just write in the chat. What do you prefer? Which one of those two?
Doesn't matter for me. So which one?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I say it doesn't matter.
Okay, let's go with this VoxDub then. So we have a deal on Flippa called
Sorry, I'm
VoxDub.
indifferent also.
What was that?
I'm happy with anything you do. Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so we'll do this. VoxDub is a dubbing SaaS using Rhythmo band technology, letting creators easily voice sync and share films, series, games, and ads. This is a SaaS, as you can see. It's a verified listing on Flippa. You have the data from Stripe, you have the data from Google Analytics, and this one is the vetting team have gone through the numbers as well. As I told you, they are improving every time. So this is something that they're adding. The starting bid price is $20,000, but however, there is a reserve price of $25,000. And there are only 8 days left for the bidding. So not all lists on Flippa are bidding lists. This one is, and the bid has to be more than $25,000 to be an actual sale. If that would not reach that, there will be no sale. You can also buy it now for $28,000 if you just don't want to bid. That's also an option here, or you can place the bid. Let's see. Also, 0 comments, 176 views, so not too popular, and 6 watchers. Yeah, they're from France. They're active 5 hours ago, which is a good sign, and that's because it means that they're following their sale. But we don't know anything about them. We just know that their verification is there's just email address and credit card. Some sellers have also feedback here, which is the best case, and then you can also see how much their previous deals were, and then you compare it to this type of deal, and then you see if that makes sense or not. In terms of, let's say that you had, this one was a $20,000 deal, but they made only a smaller transaction of $300. So it doesn't make sense so much. So you really need to have a good match with the deal sizes to see that this is a reliable seller. With here, no picture. So it's a bit of a red flag, not a specific no, but watch out. So what do we have here? I'm not going to watch the video. But this is from France. It's 2 years old. It's making $500 something a month, profit margin of 76, which is good for a SaaS. It has 10,000 page views a month, already something substantial you can do something with, and the profit multiplier is 3.9.
The
while the
profit
revenue
is
300. Yes,
the profit is net or it's revenue?
this is the revenue, 3x yearly, and this is the profit. So if I take this $528 and multiply it by 12 by 3.9, I'll get to around this price. That's basically how you do it.
And
So
the
yeah,
monthly profit, it's net profit?
that's net profit according to what they declare. Okay. Although they are connected to Stripe, they have the expenses. So we'll see that in a minute. Part of analyzing a deal is seeing what they tell you and then figure out if it's really worth pursuing even more. So this is exactly what we're doing. Understanding this. So we have the MRR, monthly recurring revenue, and total active subscribers of 52. It doesn't mean they're all paying subscribers, just subscribers, and churn rate of 6%. The performance, you can see the annual revenue is $8,000. The annual profit is 6,000. So you see this is around 75% of this. That's the 76% you see here, profit margin. And we have data from September 24 to August 25, not bad at all. And you see this is pretty consistent, which is good, even going up a little bit. Maybe ask the seller why there's a downtrend, what kind of traffic they lost, what kind of keywords they lost. If most of it is organic, I don't know, we haven't seen it yet. Key highlights. Unique dubbing SaaS powered by digital Rhythmo band technology, rare on the market. Easy to use solution for both indie creators and professional studios. Fast growing market, rising demand for dubbing in films, series, games, and ads. 100%. Subscription model, high margin, strong scalability, clear opportunity to scale internationally through digital marketing and partnerships. All this is marketing mumbo jumbo for you to keep reading. Doesn't tell me anything about the listing itself. That's less interesting. Operations, business model, monthly, annual subscription, basic, pro, etc. Product, cloud-based platform to create and export perfectly synchronized dubbing. Resource required, light technical maintenance, service and updates, customer support via email chat, digital marketing, SEO, ads, partnerships. Workload, 5 to 10 hours a month to maintain and oversee. Whenever you're buying a new business, it will take you more hours than what they state, definitely this amount of hours, to really put your head around the business and running it. You probably need a lot of time at the beginning, and then it will decrease slowly. I'm not saying you can't manage this with this amount of hours. I'm just saying that don't expect that at the beginning, and I wish for you, you'll get to that amount of hours and make more than that $500 and the same amount of hours. Customers, these are the segments. Independent creators, YouTube podcasters, trainers, game studios, and audio visual agencies. Companies localizing content for international market. Acquisition, how they get their traffic. SEO, social media, word of mouth, SaaS markets. Geography, global user base, Europe, US, Latin America. I'm glad they're not saying India, Pakistan, Philippines, because that will make the audience, the customers base, not worth a lot. Additional notes, live products with a clear roadmap, AI voice integration, clear time collaboration, differentiating technology, digital rhythm band. I don't know why that is, and they did mention it's rare. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Low fixed cost, acquisition for business seeking creative international SaaS with growth momentum. Wonderful. This is basically just repeating what we just said. Hosting $160 a month. So because they are also hosting probably the files that they're working on, that might make sense. If that was only a website or something small, I would look more into that. But again, take this number with a grain of salt, how much it really costs, if it's more or less. Google Analytics data. So it's basically what we saw there, but that's just bigger and more interesting. So you can see here the page views, and you can also see the unique visits. So we already see something interesting. There are about 1,000 of those, okay? And each person views about 10 to 13 page views, okay? For me, as a future business owner, I'm more interested to know what are the unique visits and not so much what are the page views. If they're looking at their dashboard at the back end and they're looking at 10 screens, that's not a new customer for me. It's basically them viewing the data, which is good because they are interested in it and that they are highly engaged. However, it's not a unique visit. It's not somebody new I'm getting to the website or to that SaaS and might become my client, my customer. So this is something to pay attention to. They have users, 14,000, page views, I assume it's in the last year, and pages per session, 4.17. Average engagement duration, 6 minutes. Yeah, again, they're looking at their dashboard, so that makes sense. Engagement rate, there's some error here because 0.71% is very low. Doesn't make sense. So something you need to ask the seller about.
Hey, what's up? Please like and subscribe here at the bottom, and let's continue.
For the top channels, the organic search, that page views 7,000, that's 71% of the total. Direct, it's about 21%, which is not bad at all. It means that it has good branding, people typing in the URL of VoxDub and finding the solution. So they have some referrals. Organic videos, I don't know what that is, we need to find out. And unassigned. Now, with this organic search, that will tell us why there is a drop here from 1,400 to 1,000. Now, I don't know, maybe it's seasonal. It could be that September, you see here September, and here September, it's about the same August. So maybe it's seasonal. It's hard to tell, and it's something to ask the seller. I have a guess, which is most of the users are from France. Yeah, here, almost 90%. They have the vacances, they have the summer vacation. I assume that's why less people are looking at it. Something to ask the seller about. and that makes sense for me, but it's not enough. Of course, you need to dig deeper on that. So we have France, Belgium, Canada, United States, Switzerland. Probably all are French speakers. Let's see if the homepage is in French or not. Yes, definitely in French. So this is most of the audience here. French-speaking countries, French-speaking people. Okay, monetization services, subscription, we mentioned that. Google Analytics and Stripe, we also mentioned this. Now, what do you get? What the sales include? The sale include the domain, email address, email subscriber list, supplier contractors, website files, brand assets, trademarks, unique content, social media accounts. Everything is great. Platform offers schema. Never heard of that, by the way. Something to ask the seller about. Although now with AI, everything becomes much easier to manage a SaaS. I wanted to buy a SaaS about 2 years ago, and I decided not to buy it because it seems too hard to maintain the code and all that. With the AI today, I would probably buy it. Something very important to watch, and this is the post-sale support. It just says included. With this in mind, you need to ask the seller, when he's saying included, what's included in that? Is this for how long first? 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, a quarter? What kind of support? Is this chat, WhatsApp, video calls, emails, calls? You need to define that when you're talking to the seller. Don't just buy it blindly and put that in an agreement of what's going to be the support. Let's look at the social media. 160 subscribers for their YouTube channel, and on TikTok they have 4,200. Let's look at that. That's the balance sheet, the P&L, and that's actually the most interesting. Salaries, I get that. And that's 2,000 in salaries. That's probably just for the month of January 2025. I don't know why they're giving me only 1 month. That's of course not enough. And what else do we have here? Generally speaking, when you're talking to a seller, what you need from them is a P&L sheet in Google Sheets or Excel or any of that, broken by month. This is not enough for buying a business. You need to ask them for this thing. Another thing that you have to ask is their Google Search Console view and Google Analytics viewing account, so you can see the numbers over time. So definitely it's helpful. I'll translate it, but it's not enough for what you need to make a decision if you want to move forward or not. Growth potential. What do I see here? First of all, there are 1,000 people coming to the website every month. I would go and add a newsletter or at least a registration form. And when they register at the redirect page, I would add a survey, asking them who they are and what their challenge is, meaning why they actually want to use this SaaS. That will give me more data on future services and products that you can develop for this one. Not to mention that you can then personalize the landing page, the newsletter, to give them better offer and better communication, because then they will listen, they will feel that you're listening to them and they're more likely to buy. That's a growth lever right there, which is not too hard to implement. Another thing is going with other countries. Just French-speaking countries is rather small. So translate that to English and try to go with more languages. Maybe English, the keywords for English are too hard. Again, I didn't make the keyword research here, so maybe you want to try Spanish. That's also an opportunity. But anyway, that's definitely a pretty easy expansion. You already have a working product. You already proven that people are paying for it. Why not? Let's see how much the subscription cost. So tariffs is here. So we have about $528 or euros. I think it was dollars a month. And the pro subscription is $1,300. Let's see. So that's roughly 10 clients. That's about 40 clients, something like that. So if they have 528 divided by 13, 40 clients. Yeah, okay, that's close. It's around 40 to 50 clients, around that. So that's already a substantial, nice number. And you would have this cash flow roughly every month, same cash flow. Sometimes on Flippa, and it's missing here, you have the P&L here. Okay, you get the numbers from here. I can't see it here, so that's interesting why they didn't add it. Okay, that's the tariffs. Okay, pricing. I really see a very big opportunity here with going with more countries, with more languages. I don't understand why they don't expand to that. One more thing that they really miss in adding here, which is crucial, is why they're selling. A lot of sellers don't forget to ask the seller and really dig into why selling. And then if he's saying, oh, I need to buy a house, or ask more questions about this, don't just let them give you some kind of answer. Say, okay, you really need to dig deeper. Maybe they're afraid that AI will eat their business, which is very possible with how easy it is nowadays to build a SaaS. So you need to dig deeper on what's the reasoning for selling this, and then mitigate this. Maybe you're a better web developer or a better SaaS developer for them, so it will still be worth buying. Maybe you have a following of creators and that will be a perfect match for you, so that's worth you buying this and market this to them. So you really need to make a good match between what you're buying and what fits you specifically. It can be a new business for you, but better to match it with something you already have, either expertise or another digital assets you have. Okay, any questions? Let's look at the chat if we have questions. Christina, any question?
It's very interesting. Did not know that the site existed.
Sure. You mean Flippa or DealSlide?
Both.
Okay, there are really, as I showed, there are gazillions of other marketplaces around to buy these. I just tend to go to Flippa because there is the most data that you can show. So there are different kinds of reasons. That's why I'm using this, but definitely you can do endless exploration with these kind of deals. By the way, there are three major sources for deals, either marketplaces like this one, or Facebook groups. There are open Facebook groups where people show their businesses if you want to buy them. And the best thing is when you get to a position where you get private deals. When I state that I want to buy businesses, as I did previously, I then get approached by different people saying, oh, I have this thing, I have that. Do you want to look at this? Do you want to look at that? And this is where you get the best deals because you don't have so much competition on them. But you need to start getting into buying and selling and show yourself out, and then you'll start getting those. And of course, it's riskier because you don't have any data and the seller can say whatever they want. So you need to be more careful with these.
Sure. In which sectors, which kind of assets you believe now it's the smartest thing to invest or to buy at this time?
I see a lot of value in either communities or newsletters. Solid communities where people pay monthly subscription. The next one will be maybe a free community where you then know how to monetize. I know of someone who has a Facebook community of, I don't remember, several 100,000 people, DIY, people who like DIY. These are women who likes to do DIY. Now, what's the reason that they like DIY? Because they're fairly poor, so they want to do everything themselves instead of hiring people to do things for them around the house. And that person failed to monetize properly. Yes, she does make some money, but compared to the size of the community she has, it's very hard. I'm not saying it's impossible, but she hadn't found the right product or service to give to these kind of women. So you need to understand the audience, that community. And same goes for newsletters. She also then developed it to a newsletter. It's a different story. But with a newsletter, which tend to be sometimes cheaper than website and SaaS, you need to understand who the people are, how often the seller sent emails or the sequence to them, what kind of offers they have, open rates, CTRs, things like that. Just to mention one more thing about this VoxDub. So the current market multipliers are actually around 2, okay? For a SaaS, maybe higher. So 3.9 is rather high for a SaaS. I will definitely renegotiate this, although the starting bid here is 20,000. So you probably need to contact the seller and just give them an offer probably lower than this. That's it, and see what they say. That's the way I would go forward with this acquisition. So everyone, thank you for joining. That's all I have for you. I have a YouTube channel called Free Financial Self. You can see how I analyze and review more deals over there. I can also help with the email scale up for online businesses. So if you're interested in that, watch the videos and posts on my LinkedIn, and I will see you next time. Thank you.